I'm kind of angry actually because I have to make this video. I don't want to make this video. I don't like the idea that I have to make this video. But I have to make this video because no one out there is saying what needs to be said. I've heard every argument and it's all missing the mark. It's missing the mark. Let's talk about hitting the target, okay? If we all are aiming at the same target, then we all have a common goal that we could all judge by, right? Like if I hit the bullseye, then you hit the, not so bullseye, and then that guy hits the not so bullseye, then we all know at least where we're aiming at, right? We all know what the common goal is that we can aim for the bullseye and hopefully hit it, right? But let's just say someone wanted to start throwing darts at some other target that no one else was aiming at, but they're saying, oh yeah, I hit the bullseye, and everyone else is like, yeah, but that's not the target we were aiming at. That's not even one of our goals. Like, we want to hit that bullseye right there, and you're hitting some other bullseye, we don't even know where it's at. Like, we don't even understand your bullseye. Like, where is it? Where? Alright, so if you have a target, you aim for that target, not whatever object is around you, and just say, oh yeah, I hit the bullseye, alright? So there's one target, one goal that humanity has, and that's create more humans. And not only just to create more humans, but to make good humans, create good humans. So that's our target goal, is create better humans. How can we go anywhere else? Like, we're humans, we create humans, we should be creating better humans every day, right? So, we're not trying to say that love means creating dysfunctional humans. Love is not creating degenerate humans. Love is not just accepting whatever kind of human you get just because they were born into this world too. No. We find what we got, and if it's less than what we were hoping for, we try and build it up into something better. We try and build things up. We don't let things go downhill. Okay? Because that's a bad slope for humanity to aim for. You don't say, oh, well, that's okay if they miss the mark. No, you expect them to rise to the occasion and try to aim for the target, right? So that's why we even started schools in the first place. That's why we started government in the first place. That's why we started religion in the first place. That's why we have churches. That's why we have the Bible. That's why we have everything we have, is because we aimed for a target goal and we shot for it, and we weren't willing to accept anything less than the target. We aimed for the target and went for it. So when I hear people saying, oh, that's not loving to treat people like that, to look down on people, or to expect so much out of people, or whatever they're saying, I just call bullshit. You're just not aiming for the target. The target is to make better humans. And lots of them. And if you're homosexual and you're saying that you love each other because you're homosexual and you love each other, that's not love. Love means you hold someone accountable to aim at the target. The target is not having a homosexual relationship. That's genocide. So, if you want to understand love, think about letting your 2-year-old pet a rattlesnake. Is that love? No. Neither is letting your child become a homosexual. That's not love. That's demented. That is twisted. That's the wrong target. You're looking the wrong direction. You're not doing it right. You're You're losing your mind if you think that that's normal. If you think that's acceptable. If you think that's love. You are absolutely out of your mind if you think that's not genocide. The only reason why homosexuals are homosexual is because they hate the life they were given. They hate the gender they were given. They hate the persona they were given. They hate their character. They hate everything about themselves, and they want you to hate everything about yourself too. That's why every time you get in an argument with them where you make any sense whatsoever, they just scream over you. They'll scream over you because they do not want you to make any logical points. They hate your opinions. They're screaming over this video as I speak. They are trying to shut me up even though I cannot be shut up. They hate you. They hate your children. They hate everything about life and everything in it. They don't want love. They don't want good things. They don't want marriage to exist. They don't want children to exist. They don't want you to be happy. They don't want anything good for you because they've already decided in their head that life is so worthless they don't want to bring more life into the world. That's why they chose to be homosexual. Ask any homosexual if they want to bring life into the world, and you don't even have to ask. They'll tell you no. Their actions say so. Because you can't have kids as a homosexual. So they automatically assume life is wrong. They don't like your kids. They don't like you. They are not your friends. They are your enemies, because only your enemies never wants to see your kids be born. They never want to see their own kids be born because they're an enemy to themselves. They're an enemy to the world. There is nothing you can tell me, but I'll listen, unlike they will do. Unlike the homosexual will do, I'll listen. They'll scream over me for trying to say these things. That's why I can't say them in public, but I'd say them in public if they'd listen, but they won't listen. No, they'd threaten me. They'd do Charlie Kirk type thoughts to me, and then they'd laugh about it afterwards because they have no sense of what love is. Love means you accept your enemies for whatever they are, and you try and love them in spite of it. It doesn't mean you accept your enemies and you tell them they're good people for being your enemies. No. You love them in spite of being evil. Just like these homosexuals are evil, but this is me loving them by talking to them rather than going out and finding a baseball bat or a gun and doing what most people do. Okay? I am talking. And they will, I've already had threats for saying these things. I've been yelled at. They won't let me talk. So I have to get on here just to be able to say a word or two without getting screamed over. Because that's what they do. They won't accept a conversation because they know any conversation will lead to logic. And logic is not what they're operating under. They're operating under the emotions of they're a victim and they hate life. And they want everyone else to hate life as bad as they do. And I'm sorry, but I don't hate life. I want to live a happy life. But unfortunately, there are people out there that want to make my life impossible to live happily. Because how am I supposed to be happy living life if there's a bunch of homosexuals out there trying to molest my kid or do something to torment my kid and teach them all these evil, corrupt, genocidal ideologies? How am I supposed to be happy knowing that if I go out there to look for a woman, it might be a man? Are you kidding me? How am I supposed to feel comfortable knowing that if I send my kid to school, some homosexual is going to be teaching them how to be a homosexual? Teaching them genocide, teaching them to aim for the wrong target. How am I supposed to be happy with these people in my life? How? They say that I'm the problem. All I want to do is have kids and have a happy life. But I can't even do that because they're here. They're pointing their fingers at me like I'm the problem, like I'm not aiming at the right target. There's one natural target we should be aiming at. That's having more humans, good ones, educated humans, not genocidal degenerates. Homosexuality is demented. It's genocidal. It's wrong. We need to get rid of it. I'm done. Like and subscribe. You'll hear lots more.